Bruchim aboim b'shem Hashem. When Reb Chaim Snow tells me we're ready, then we're ready. And until then, we're not ready. It's good to see everybody. Wonderful to be here. Good vach. Mazel tov. Reb Chaim, don't worry, it's fine. We'll start again whenever you're ready. Don't worry. Nesanel Gantz. It's really down. Mark. All of the familiar faces and some who are becoming familiar. The Koilom members. Welcome everybody. Reb Chaim, how are we doing? We're okay? Okay? Not yet? We're going to begin with Tehilim for the Matzav in Ukraine, the Yidden in Ukraine. Kapitel Tehilim. Right now, we're sitting b'Shalos HaNefesh in a beautiful event, and there are many, many people, millions of people who are out of their houses. They don't know what's happening. They don't know where they're going to be tomorrow. Take a minute. Let's think about this. A second, a little Tehilim. Imi anaychi b'tzara. Shira malois el Adonai b'tzaraso li karasi v'yaneni. Adonai hatzila nafshi misva shekem miloshen ramiya. Mayiten lecha o mayosev lach loshen ramiya. Chitze giba shrunim im gachalei resomim. Oyali kigati meshech shachanti imale keder. Rabba shochlo la nafshi im soine shalom. Ani shalom mechi adaber heima la milchama. What are we asking for? Shalom, not milchama. Baruch Hashem, we're here at an amazing moment, amazing time. We started together. We started with Avodah Zarah, and now it's a quarter of the way through Shas. Here an incredible evening, Baruch Hashem, finishing Seder Moed together. And I want to ask you a question. I'm going to introduce Reb Eli in a moment, but I want to ask you a question. What's so special about a Siyum? Why do we make Siyumim? Why? What are you doing? What are we doing here? Why are we making a Siyum? I want to tell you a story. A friend of mine told me the story, and he said he went to yeshiva with a guy named Mati. And Mati was not a guy you would think would become great. He was an average guy. He was a guy who had a lot of hobbies. He wasn't so into learning. He was into different things. He was into music. He had a whole collection of different singers, not really Jewish. He was into his different things. He was into photography. And every time he would get a new camera, he would take a lot of pictures of different things, of his sneakers, of his basketball. And my friend told me that Mati, if you asked him, who's the person that's going to be matzliach in learning in a million years, it wouldn't be Mati. You would never think it would be Mati. He says, one day he gets news, Mati's making a Siyum on the Ben Ish Chai. On the Ben Ish Chai, he's making a Siyum. The kids are, and he's inviting everyone in the yeshiva to the Siyum for the Ben Ish Chai. And it's going to be in a hall, and it's going to be his father owns a meat company, and it's going to be catered beautifully. And the Oilam comes to the Siyum, and there's a band, the Eli Dickman's playing. It's unbelievable. Everybody comes, and there's presents, and there's meat, and it's geschmack, and everybody's laughing inside. Because look, what's the big deal? He made a Siyum on the Ben Ish Chai. What's going on over here? What's the big party? And they're smacking him on the back, and they're saying, Mati, Mati, Mazel Tov. But inside they're laughing. It's not such a big deal. They don't understand. And my friend told me, a while later, Mati made a Siyum, another Siyum, and he tells everyone, Raboysai, I'm inviting you to the next Siyum. I'm making a Siyum on Chamisha Chumshei Torah. And everyone laughs. It's so funny. Mati's making a Siyum, Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Wow, unbelievable. And they come to the hall. And again, it's a great night. There's music, there's dancing. And Mati's making a Siyum, a Chamisha Chumshei Torah. They smack his back. They laugh. Mati, but they're not laughing with him. It's really a little funny. Who does this guy think he is? He's making a Siyum on Chamishe Chumshe Torah. A little time goes by, and Mati makes a Siyum on a Masechta. He makes a Siyum on a Masechta, and again the same thing. The same matzav, the same gishmak, the same party, and everybody comes again. Everybody slaps him on the back. A few years go by. And one day, everyone in the yeshiva hears that Mati's making a Siyum Hashas. And he rented the fanciest hall in Petach Tikva. And everybody came to the hall, all his friends, all his family, guys who haven't spoken to him in 20 years. And when they got to the hall, it was like this hall. It had a garden. And it was beautiful weather outside. And everybody's milling outside. And they're having a whole matzav, whole shmorg. And in the middle of the matzav, you hear the sound of a helicopter. And there's a helicopter above the garden. And the helicopter comes to a stop over the garden. And a rope comes down. And Mati's lowered down from the helicopter into the garden. He's holding the last Masechta under his arm. And he makes a Siyum on the whole Shas. And everybody's slapping him on the back. Mati, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And they're slapping him and they're laughing. Mati finished Shas. Who would have believed it? My friend told me, a few years go by, I didn't see Mati. And one day, about 5 years later, I ran into Mati and I saw him. And right one look at him, I could see he's not the same person. And I said to him, Mati, how's the photo albums? You still have them? And he said to me, no, I don't have the albums. And I asked him, how's the music collection? Do you still have the music collection? And he said, no, I don't have that anymore. And I said to him, how you doing? Do you still making the Siyumim? And Mati said to me, not like that anymore. Not making the Siyumim anymore like that. I want to tell you something, Raboysai. I don't know how many people are listening, how many people are talking. I don't know exactly what's going on. But I want to tell you a message. And with this, we start off the night. My friend told me, when I looked at my friend Mati, the last guy I would have ever thought would become a Talmid Chacham, would finish Shas. I have to tell you something. I had a question. Why do we make a Siyum for? Why do we make Siyumim? But I want to tell you why we make a Siyum. Because this person, Mati, was not the same person anymore. And you know why that is? Because every time you finish a Masechta, you're a different person. You're a little different. You finish Avodah Zarah, you're a little different. You finish Sanhedrin, you're a little different. You finish Zvachim, you're a little different. Menachas, you're a little different. You start Shas, you finish Brachas, you finish Shabbos, you finish Eruvin, you finish Pesachim, you're a little different. And suddenly you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not the same person that you used to be. Because the Torah that you learned every single day went into you. And you're not the same Mati, or the same Avi, or the same Chaim, or the same Maishi. You're a different person. And that's why we make a Siyum. Because we're not celebrating. What are we celebrating? We're celebrating the fact that we're changing. That we're learning Torah and we're not the same. That's why. And now I'm going to introduce Reb Eli to come here. And Reb Eli's going to tell you that when I told this story at Aaron's Shabbos Shever Brachas, this is a story that, why am I telling this story tonight? Because it resonates with Reb Eli. Reb Eli could tell you where he, you know, right now there's a lot of rich people in the world. And there's more all the time. And when you reach a certain place with money, you look for what to do. You need to become a pilot. That's the way it works. You have to, and then once you're a pilot, you need to buy your own plane. There's just a way it works with rich people. Reb Eli was there. He did it. He bought the plane. He did the scuba diving. He did the... But I'll tell you, if you look at him, every Masechta, every page, every day, another daf, every Masechta, every Siyum. Why are you making the Siyum? Because it's not the same person anymore. Raboysai, please give a very warm introduction, a very warm welcome to Reb Eli Stefansky right now, kicking off the night. Here we are. Global Siyum.
Good evening, Raboysai. Wow. Bruchim Aboim. Thank you, each and every one of you. I'm going to be speaking a little bit later. I think it's very appropriate. We're just speaking about that a person has three partners: a father, a mother, and a Kadish Baruch Hu. There are three shutfim that a person has that brings him to this world. And I feel that I would like to introduce the three shutfim that I have, besides my wife, who's not going to be able to speak tonight. I have three shutfim that enable me and brought me to where I am today, and in return, that enables me to give a shir and for the olam to enjoy. I'd like to kick off the evening with one of the three shutfim that the Gemara talks about, but the Gemara talks about in a physical sense, and for me, it's also in the ruchniya sense. My heilige father was maskim to come tonight. It's not pashut. He hasn't been to Bet Shemesh in years. literally, and he's here tonight. And since since I remember, basically, I always had a father that always had a Sefer open, a Gemara open. That was my father. He never went with us on Chalamayit trips. He never played ball with me. But he taught me Chashivas HaTorah, Ahavas HaTorah, what it means to dedicate your life to learning. He never learned in a kollel. He never had a job. He always sat in the house, in a room, and learned b'hasmada, a crazy hasmada. And I always wanted to emulate him. But I felt that maybe it wasn't for me. And like I said many times, people have this little character that sits on their shoulder and tells them, don't do it, it's not for you. And when I realized, it took me many years to realize that it's this voice in my head, you can't do it. You have ADD, you're too wild, you're not the greatest learner. But at the end of the day, anybody could do it, anybody. So it's a tremendous chus for me to introduce my father, one of the three partners that I want to introduce tonight. And he's number one. Abba, please come to the front if you can. This way. No.
We just recently said those the beautiful words Hadran Aloch Meseches Chagige and Hadran Aloch Seder Moed, which we all learned 12 Mesechtes in Shas. This word, Hadran Aloch, the beautiful words, every simple Jew and every Rosh Yeshiva and every Rov and every Goem Batoiro, now in our years and in all the years that passed, always said when they finished the Masechta Hadran Aloch. That means that those magnificent words connect us with the Loimdei HaTorah, with the Torah, and we become one. In Kabbalah's HaTorah, in Shmois, in Yutes, it says in Pasuk, Vayichan Shom Yisrael Neged Ohor. Rashi brings the Mechilte, Vayichan Keish Echod Belev Echod. Aval Shara Chanoyos, all the other Chanoyos, which we know, Membeis Chanoyos in the Torah, says Vayisu Vayachnu, Vayisu Vayachnu. So Rashi brings the Chazal, B'machloikes u'beta'arumois. I think this Chazal isn't a one-time phenomenon. It's a constant behavior. When a person goes through his own difficulties in life, whether it's health, whether it's parnose, whether it's kids, and so on, he's bibchinas machloikes. He's choluk from the tzibur. He's in his own sorrow. Yes, somebody can comfort him, somebody can say a good word, but he goes on with life. But he himself, he lives in his own sorrow and his own issues. But as he wants out, if he's Zoiche, and he wants to the Torah, there he finds all of a sudden that he's together, he's united with all the Lumdei Torah from all the Doros. He's all together, and he's all Vayichan Shom Yisrael Keneged Ohor Keish Echot. Keish Echot means Moshe Rabbeinu, Arna Koyen, the Sanhedrin, and all the Pshutei Hom. Everybody is Keish Echot. And therefore, I don't think there's a lot to say except for being happy together, which is a tremendous joy to see every Jew and every person that is here, how much he enjoys the Hadran Aloch that we just said and we finished. And therefore I would say with everybody together, Hadran Aloch, Seder, Moed, Hadran Aloch, Kadish Baruch should be with you. You should always finish the Torah, and the Torah should be making on you in this world and in the world to come. It should lead you. And of course, like one of the speakers here said before, it was hard to listen because the voice was so hard, but one word I took, that the Siyum, he said, it was a wonderful word. We always make a new Siyum, because the next time when I learn, I'm not the same person. And naturally not the Siyum, it means every day a person is only a oile and not chas v'shalom yored. And bein ha'mahalchim oile, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, v'nasati lecho, bein the malochim ha'oimdim, but the bnei Adam are going, in Seder they're going. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help you. You should always enjoy, and the enjoyment that you get from Reb Eli's learning should be a constant learning with you. You should learn with your own neshama. You should reach whatever you're able to reach in this world in order to come to the world to come with a beautiful Hadran Aloch, Hadran Aloch.
You heard from my first shutef, and now I'd like to introduce to you my materialistic shutef that's able to speak. Again, this is not to exclude my wife, Chas v'Shalom, who does. I'm going to talk about her a little later. When I left Chicago, came to Eretz Yisrael, I was still running the business. I was going every month for a good part of the week. And that's how it went for a few years. I never missed the Shabbos. I told my wife, I'll try to be back before Shabbos. I might have missed once, I don't even remember. But it was always, I left on a Matzah Shabbos on a Sunday, came back on a Thursday. But as things got a little interesting with the daf, it was very difficult to leave. And naturally, Benzi had to step in, and he took over to the point where some of the really big decisions that I was very involved in the day-to-day, I'm almost not even there. He tried to pull a couple quick ones on me, try to sell all the properties without me knowing, etc. Last minute I caught on, we nixed it. I'll give him the opportunity to refute that. But I think that I myself owe Benzi a tremendous debt of gratitude, a tremendous hakaras hatov. He does it for one reason. He does it because he believes in the cause. He knows what it means. And he himself has been with us from the beginning, from brachas, hasn't missed a day. And he believes in it. And he allows me, he gives me that cushion. Not many people in the world will tolerate it. He tries to reach me when there's very important stuff going on. We got to close. It's in a day, 2 days, and I don't pick up the phone. I ignore all the calls. And he keeps on going without getting upset, without yelling. He takes care of business. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you, you might not know what he looks like or who he is. He's a brilliant, brilliant businessman. Benzi and Friedman, not to be confused with my brother-in-law who's Benzi Friedman. Please come here and say a few words. Please give Benzi a warm Yeshur Koyach and hakaras hatov. Thank you, Benzi.
Yedidya. Thank you, first of all, everybody, for coming. I
got to say something else. Very, very important. Seriously. There's another reason why every single person in this room owes Benzi hakaras hatov. I'm not kidding. Tonight, almost every single person in this room received a subsidized price to enter here, unless you paid and you're the VIP or whatever. The cost tonight is over 400 shekel a person. Benzi gave from his own money $18,000 to subsidize all you. He said he doesn't want it to go to the Gemaras. He doesn't want it to go to MDY. He wants it to go to tonight. In addition, he also bought $3,000 of scotch that's in the bars right now. $3,000, that's $21,000 that he's giving you tonight. So you all owe him a personal hakaras hatov.
Thank you, Eli, for that. It's very important you said that. So I dedicated tonight's Siyum to Zecher Nishmas, my very, very close friend Nesanel Gantz. His grandmother was nifter a little bit over a month ago, and Nesanel does so much for the shir, so I figured it's a good thing, tonight to dedicate the Siyum after his grandmother. Sarah Bela Basar Moshe. Shalom Shalom and Aliyah. So I'll say the Dvat Torahs for many, many other chashuv people are here, but just on a personal note, I think, many people, you say thank you to Eli, but it's really, I think, on Eli's family, and especially Fagi, everything that she does to allow him to allow him to do this, and she's given up great sacrifice in Eretz Yisrael and many other Gashmias parts of life in order to do this. So, and I deal with them on a consistent basis. I know what it is, and she's just a whole nother level of what she's done for Eli and what she's done for the shir. So thank you, Fagi. And then the only other personal message is to Eli. We're all in America, the business partners and everything else we do here, we're very proud of your dedication that you've done and what you've stuck to in the shir. And our only bracha is that you continue and you take this through all the way through the next Siyum Hashas in another 5+ years, and you stay as consistent as you did. And Amir Hashem, we're all together, be Mesayem Shas together. I don't know about a cruise, but here is fine also. And we finish it together, and Yedidya.
Okay. And then, final shutuf in this thing. And I'm not going to introduce anybody else. To give it over to Nachman. Towards the end of Seder Nashim, we're starting now Seder Nashim. Towards the end of Seder Nashim of the previous cycle is when I arrived in Eretz Yisrael. And maybe a little bit after that. It's when I decided I want to learn a little bit, and I walked into a Beis Medrash, a local Beis Medrash, Pnei Shmuel, and I sat down. Looked around for an empty seat, sat down. And I opened up Masechtas Kiddushin, which is the final Masechta in Seder Nashim. Daf Yomi was starting that day, Masechtas Kiddushin. I figured, okay, let's go, Masechtas Kiddushin. And unbeknownst to me, I sat down. There was 150 people in this Beis Medrash learning, and I sat down within 10 people that were doing the daf, and I didn't even know. And a couple days later, I realized that, hey, they're screaming things and learning that sound familiar. It's from the daf. So I turned over to the guy next to me. I said, I'm going to show this guy something about learning. He didn't learn in Panovich. And I asked him a question, and he wiped the floor with me. So I put my tail between my legs, and I went weiter. And then I said, okay, the next hour later, so now I have a good kasha. I turned to him and I said, what about this one? And day after day, I would come to this guy and I would ask him my questions. And very quickly I realized that this guy is like 100 times better than me in learning. And eventually I asked him if he could learn with me. And he agreed. I don't know how many days we missed since then the Kiddushin, or the beginning of Kiddushin. I'm choking up thinking about the dedication and the foresight. I don't know what he saw in me. But there have been many times where I told him, hey, I don't think I got the sugya well. You want to come learn? And he's like, I'm in bed now, but I'll come at 4. And he would show up at 4 in the morning. Or he would say, you could zoom in, these are real tears. He would say, I'll come now, I'll come out of bed. Never once did he turn me down. Never once did he have an excuse in all those years. Always with a smile. Nah, it's okay. I feel bad for his wife. I asked her mechila a lot of times. I mess things up there. I take him away from her a lot. But his dedication, that consistency, I got to learn with his chavrusa. Nobody cares, nobody knows, but he is there every single day. If I sleep in or whatever, I don't come to that daf. The other day I had to go to the doctor, so we'll learn at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll learn with him at 9 o'clock at night. Never says no to me, never. I think he understands that there's a sheer behind this, but my father brought me to a certain place in learning. He learned a lot with me. I learned with chavrusa. A lot of times he would take me out of yeshiva and say, okay, you're done with this yeshiva, let's learn for the next 6 months. And we learned together with chavrusa. But Reb Yedidya, my Rebbe, brought me to a whole different level. He's an amazing, amazing learner, and he knows Kol HaTorah Kula on his fingertips. You could ask him anything in Shas, and he'll tell you exactly where it is and how it is, and he'll quote you the words. But he understands it on a lumdish level, on a very high level. So without any further ado, I want to introduce to you my partner in Torah, Horav Stefansky, Reb Yedidya Kramer, who's a big Aranoff, and he doesn't look it, but trust me, he's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raboysai. So, I have to just correct Reb Eli on a few little points. The first point, don't feel so bad for my wife. When we dated, she asked me, are you going to stay in learning? And I said, you'll see, as long that it works. So she said, but as long that it works, you're going to stay in learning? So I said, yes. So she said, okay. And Baruch Hashem, that's my partner. B'schus her, I'm here, and she's very happy every time I learn. Another thing, Reb Eli said, I know Kol HaTorah Kulo, and there's no one that knows Kol HaTorah Kulo. Our whole life, we're learning Kol HaTorah. The Chofetz Chaim brings that if Odom HaRishon would be zoiche to not eat from Eitz Hadas, he would have the mind of Odom HaRishon, and he would live, he would get Torah, and he would live for 6,000 years without dying, and there will always be something new to learn. So there's plenty of Torah to go. But besides these two things, I really appreciate all the compliments. Thank you very much. I just want to share with the Olam one point, and I'll tell the Olam the truth. I was planning to stand here after a lot of people spoke before me, and I'll get an idea of what to say. But since I was put on the spot right on the beginning, I'll have to say something. I don't know if it's the best thing to say, but it's a story I want to share with the Olam. There was a story about the Bachur, his name was Yankele. And this Yankele was an older Bachur. He learned in Radin. And he really, really wanted to get married. It got to a point that it was really painful. He wanted to get married already. He decided he's going to go to the Chofetz Chaim to tell him and ask for a bracha. But he was embarrassed. He didn't want to walk in on Stam day. So he waited for Erev Yom Kippur in the afternoon when everyone is eating their Seudah HaMafsekes. And he decided he's going to come into the Chofetz Chaim. And he walks in, and there's another Jew over there, and this Jew is begging the Chofetz Chaim for having kids. And the Chofetz Chaim didn't want to give him the bracha. But he said, I'm not going to leave until the Rebbe gives me a bracha. So the Chofetz Chaim gave him a bracha, he should have kids. Then this uncle asked this guy, can you please ask the Chofetz Chaim for a bracha for me to get married? I'm over 30 years old, and I really want to have a mishpacha. So he told the Chofetz Chaim, this older bachur, he needs a shidduch. So the Chofetz Chaim said, he should be zoiche to continue learning Torah. So the Chofetz Chaim wasn't hearing so well at the end of his life. So this person goes to the Chofetz Chaim and he says, please, he needs a shidduch. The bachur, he screams, the bachur needs a shidduch. And the Chofetz Chaim said, he should have a bracha to stay in learning. And he said, wow, the Chofetz Chaim gave up on me. And he walked out, and he was crying, walking in the hallways. And Reb Elchanan Wasserman, that came to visit the Chofetz Chaim. He always used to come for Yomi Noiroim. He was a Rosh Yeshiva himself, but for Yomi Noiroim, he came to the Chofetz Chaim. So he was there. And he saw this bachur crying, and he said, why are you crying? So he told him what happened. So he told him, you don't understand. The Chofetz Chaim gave you the best bracha in the world. You're such a lucky man. In order to stay in learning Torah, you have to have a wife. In order to stay in learning Torah, you got to have something that holds you in Torah. You have to have parnasa. You have to have children. You have to have everything. And the bracha the Chofetz Chaim gave you is the most amazing bracha in the world. This story I read in a sefer called Meged Givois Olam. It's a sefer about many stories about Gedolim, especially the Chofetz Chaim and Reb Moshe Feinstein, by Rabbi Shurkin. So he says, this bachur was my father. This bachur, that the story goes on, he was my father. And I want to give the Olam a bracha. We should all be zoiche to stay in learning the simcha.
Okay, Raboysai. For the next part, we're going to invite the Baal Mesayem to make the Siyum. Before we do, We just want to say a couple of words about the Baal Mesayem. He's going to say a few words and he's going to make the Siyum. We want to share the following thought. When Hashem took Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, He made them extraordinarily wealthy. Malei kesef v'zahav. And then they had the Biza Sayam. Moshe Rabbeinu had Psalach HaLuchos. Every single member of Klal Yisrael was sitting at a VIP table. Every single one multimillionaires. Gemara says, the Medrash says, that each one had 90 donkeys full of gold and silver. And then you ask yourself, where did Hashem take them out to? He took them out to the Midbar. What do you do with all that money in the Midbar? He made them multimillionaires and he took them out to a Midbar, a place where there's nothing to do with all that money. Murad, what's the answer? What do you do with all that money in the Midbar? Is Hashem chas v'shalom laughing at us? Chalila. But Hashem wanted to teach us the value of money. Money in and of itself is worth as much as you could do with it in a Midbar. Money in and of itself is worth whatever you could buy in a Midbar, nothing. There are two things you find that Klal Yisrael did in the Midbar with the money that they had. They made an Egel and they built a Mishkan. What you take the money and what you do with it, you could turn it into an Avodah Zarah or you could turn it towards Kedusha. The Baal Mesayem, who's about to get up here, epitomizes MDY. You've got a Syrian from Deal. What kesher does he have with a Kalta Litvak Ashkenaz with Minhagi Agra? Not so kalt, not so kalt. Just a Litvak. And Murad Nekash takes his kesef v'zahav and he dedicates it towards a Mishkan. He doesn't want me to say what the expense was to be Mesayem. Should I say? Let's just say Shivim Panim L'Torah. He doesn't want to say. But we will say that Murad Nekash, who predominantly was masking to do it, his cousin is sitting here in the audience. She lost her husband 9 months ago. Murad said, I'm asking him to do it because I'm committed to MDY, and I'm asking him to do it, Li'ilui Nishmas, my cousin's husband, Yaakov Ben Evelyn. Murad, you are a close chaver of MDY. We value you, we appreciate you, and with that, we have the honor of calling you up to say a few words and to be the Baal Mesayem. Thank you.
So I'm not much of a speaker. I don't think I've even spoken at Sheva Barachot ever. So, I know Reb Eli is a good speaker, but I'm not the same as him, but I'm going to try. So first, I'd like to thank Borei Olam, obviously, who brought us to this beautiful event, who got us to MDY, and just an unbelievable situation. I'd like to thank my wife, who's not here. She's holding fort back home and taking care of the kids, so I can be here even for a Shabbat. So how did I get into Daf Yomi? So like everybody else, I went to that famous Siyum at Giant Stadium. It was an unbelievable event. Just watching everybody, 90,000 people just going crazy. It was just an unbelievable event. On my way home, a bunch of my kids, which I brought with me, turned to me and they're like, I don't understand. Why are you not doing this? And I said, I don't know, I have an Ian Shur, I'm learning halacha, I'm learning a lot of other things. I don't know if I want to start a Bikiya Shur of Daf Yomi. my daughter turned around. Her name is Esther. She's going to love that I said her name. She's going to regret it later. And she said, why don't you do it? Just on the way home, just let's today decide that you're going to start Daf Yomi. And that's what happened. Basically that way, on the way home, in the car, with my kids, we decided that we're going to do the Daf Yomi. So now, how did I get to MDY? So I was sitting in my backyard back in July in the summertime. First of all, I'm from Brooklyn. We only go to summer deal. We're from Brooklyn, not from Deal, New Jersey. I was sitting in my backyard, and I don't know, I was on Yeshiva World or something like that. I don't know where Nesanel puts all the junk that we go through. And I'm on Yeshiva World, and these things keep popping up. Free Gemaras, free Gemaras, free Gemaras. I'm thinking to my head, okay, maybe I should get involved in this. So I sent an email. I believe then it was Daf Rama or something, I don't remember, at gmail.com. I figured I wasn't going to get anybody to answer. They said it's an Israeli place. Within 3 minutes, I got 5 phone calls. So never send an organization that you want to give money because they're just going to come after you. So I got 5 phone calls saying, how much do you want to give? And obviously, I spent, I think, an hour on the phone with Nesanel that day. And we just went through all the points and why I really, really believed that it was the right thing to give whatever I could at that moment towards the Gemaras. Now, I want to just talk about a few people. I know there's many people behind the scenes. I don't think everybody knows what all these people do. I don't even know what they all do, but they all really work hard. I only know a lot of the guys from New York, so I don't know a lot of the Israelis, which I met this Shabbat, are unbelievable people. But Nesanel, Mark Ashkenazi, Yossi Klein, they all deserve unbelievable. They're the best people I've ever met, and I'm a Sephardi, and they talk to me like I'm part of them. Yossi Klein is trying to teach me Yiddish. I don't know, sometimes talking to him, and I don't know what I'm doing. He just tells me, oh, but you gotta go, just send the money. And I met a new person this Shabbos who I've now gained a lot of respect for. His name is To R Levy. I believe he ran the event. And he didn't miss a beat. He walked us home. He walked us here. He's like, you're going to get lost. Just trust me. Come with me, and I'll take care of everything. So I'd like to thank you personally. That To R, you're unbelievable this Shabbat, and you really did a great job. So now I want to talk about why I decided to actually get involved and why, Baruch Hashem, we give a lot of stuff all over the world, all over yeshivas, everywhere. I sat down and Nesanel was trying to calculate how much each Gemara is worth, how much the shipping, how much the ads. I don't know, every time I call him, it's a different number. But finally we got to around what we believe was $30, $35, whatever it was. So I thought to my head, I said, 1 second. For $30, you're getting a guy to sit down and start a Gemara from scratch. Maybe the guy hasn't learned in 20 years. Maybe the guy hasn't learned in 30 years. For $30, it's such an unbelievable investment. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to just give all their money towards this. You're giving a guy a Gemara and just pushing him to learn. So I wasn't much of a guy that's actually pushing people to learn, but I'm just going to read you a text of one guy that I did. Happened to be that I was a business acquaintance, and I mentioned that I know Reb Eli a little bit. So the guy went and Googled Reb Eli, and he sent me a text the night before Chagiga, and he says, by the way, I'm going to start tomorrow. I said, okay, I'm going to leave the guy alone, let him do whatever he wants. I'm going to just read you the text. And this is, I believe 3 days after he started. He said, I must tell you, I had an amazing week. I did the daf every day from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Till I started doing this, I used to come home, drained from work, and not have any patience for my wife and kids. I used to sit down on the couch and either watch a TV show or stam shtusim. Okay, he's not a Sephardi. Okay, stam shtusim on YouTube to just get my mind off of work and off of all the stress. The whole week, this week, which when he started Reb Eli's Chagiga, I came home like a different person. I was able to talk to my wife. I was able to talk to my kids. It was as if it was Shabbos every single night. It was an amazing thing. He says, you don't understand what you've done to me as a person and how amazing you've changed my life. I also went now, and this is what he's telling me during Chagiga, is that he's now doing 2 Masechtas at a time because he found that when you actually start the daf, you realize you have so much time. So he did Chagiga and Megillah with the rabbi. He went back to the older videos and basically did both of them. And now he's actually going to do Yibamis and then go back one more because he says, I have so much time, I don't know what to do with myself. He says, Sundays, my wife makes me drive her around. He said, I sat 5 hours learning because why not? I have nothing better to do with my life. A little more than 30 when you got to buy more Gemaras. So now I want to just tell you a little bit what I see from Reb Eli. I'm a working guy. I went to yeshiva. Thank God he made a little money. But to watch him and hear his stories, yes, you can listen to it on Meaningful Minute, on Art Scroll, on Behind the Bima now. I don't know where else he's going to go next, but you can hear it all. But to watch a man who was someone at the top level of, making money, and on top of the world, sort of, whatever you want to call what that means, right? And just say to himself, you know what? What do I need this for? What am I running? I'm running so I can make a couple of more dollars. I always tell my friends, the more money you make is just the more money you spend. It doesn't make you any easier. You don't get a better life. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, you're just going to spend it all anyways. So you're not a better person because you made more money. So to watch Reb Eli just like, I call it Misirut Nefesh, even though it's not really Misirut Nefesh, but it really is. He really gave it up all just so he can push people to learn. And I watch him, and I text him a lot, and he answers me at 4 in the morning sometimes, and I know I'm annoying him, and I'm driving him nuts. But just to watch him every day, just get up in the morning and just have that push, that fire, just to learn. It's an unbelievable thing to watch. So if you just want to learn one thing, watch how he starts his shir. It gives you that excitement that you want to go learn. I'm dying to learn when I hear him in the morning. I'm like, okay, how am I going to learn 3 hours today? Reb Eli's just so excited to just come to shir every day. It's an unbelievable sight. Listen, we all went to yeshiva. We all had rebbes, and we watched them, but they never gave you that. They were doing their work. They were doing their job. They were getting paid. He's not getting paid to do this. I know for sure. And he just has that excitement. It's just unbelievable. And I cherish it, and I hope, with Hashem's help, that I can get to the level of Reb Eli to have at least that excitement in life. And just to watch him this weekend also, he loves, whether it's the Lubavitcher guy from the side, the guy from Brooklyn, the guy from Deal, a guy from Breslov, a guy from Hasidish. I don't even know what Hasidish they are, but, and he just sits with every person and makes it like it's his best friend and talks to him. And it's almost like he's on the level of every single Jew in the world. And I don't understand it because usually a Syrian can't get along with an Ashkenazi, a Litvak and a Hasidish can't get along. But he seemed to have found the potion to get everybody together. I don't know how he does it. So if anybody has any extra money, this is the place to go. I'm telling you, it's all worth it. You'll see Siyata Dishmaya like you've never seen after. The day I donated it, I called Reb Eli. We closed on something that I was waiting for a while, and we got so excited for him, and I said, I'm ready to go more. And Nesanel keeps pushing me every day. Okay, we need more money. And I said, no problem, I'm in. As long as it's going to a Gemara that I know that person's going to change his life, I'm willing to put up all the money in the world. Reb Eli?
All right. right, so before we do the scene together here, just want to say a few words of Akar Zatayv. Tremendous Akar Zatayv to the Rebbeinu Shalom for bringing us all to this tremendous Maimed. I truly believe we're bringing Mashiach. Look around. Just look around what's going on here. How many Streimlach, how many Kippas Rugaz, how many Ashkenazim, Sfardim, Hasidim, Misnagdim, off the derech people, on the derech people, children, Skenim, Shoitim, everything. A lot of Shoitim. Thank you, Shoitim, for coming. A lot of Amaritzim. We even have women. Unbelievable.
Good Tvach, everybody. Mazel Tov on the Siyum. I'm Mike Friedman, and I'm not a big fan of giving speeches. I'm not a big fan of listening to speeches. I'm not a big fan of parties, but I'm a big fan of Siyumim, and I have to at least say a few words of Mazel Tov to Eli, and for everything he's done and accomplished. That who would have imagined 12,000 people and probably more by now listening every day to Shir, following day after day and completing Masechtes, Yomim, and hopefully very soon finishing Shas. I agreed to say a few words because Eli told me it's in honor of Fagi, his wife, my daughter, and I have to add my contribution in giving special thanks and recognition for her contribution. Fagi, although Fagi is a Aishes Chayal superpower. Eli is the superstar, but behind him is Fagi. She's dedicated, she's kind, she's talented, she's giving, she and is understanding, she's sensitive to other people, and she's always there to support Eli. When Eli decided, he had this crazy notion that he's going to leave Chicago and create this worldwide Daf Yomi that thousands of people will listen to. Who would have believed it? But Fagi was willing to follow him. She was willing to give up her house in Chicago, give up her family, give up her friends, give up her career, give up the comfort she had and move to Ramat Beit Shemesh to be with Eli and to be there. Once she was there, she was behind him all the way. When Eli was busy, 18 hours a day, learning the daf, preparing the daf, Fagi was there taking care of the family needs, taking care of the problems at school, taking care of the doctor visits, taking care of the problems with the house, taking care of problems with the family. Fagi was there because Fagi is there to support Eli and to support the program. When there's a need for a party for the Daf Yomi group, when there's a need for a sukkah, when there's a need for a siyum, when there's a guest, and when there's events at the house, Fagi is there to support Eli and to support the program. So I can't offer my appreciation and my recognition enough for both Eli and Fagi for what they've done. I also just want to end by introducing my idea to expand this program. I don't know why Eli would stop at 12,000, 15,000. I kept telling him he needs to go on to a shir in Hebrew. And then I have just in the man form for a voiceover for Spanish. We need different languages. People, I think all over the world, want to listen to Reb Eli. They want to listen to the shir. They want to listen to the I guess the entertainment is all part of it. And all I can say is Mazel Tov and continued haslacha and continued growth for everybody in the program, and Mazel Tov to everybody who finished one Masechta, two Masechtas, and certainly everyone who finished the whole Seder Moed. Mazel Tov and Good Tvach.
A tremendous, I don't want to break down again. I did it for my other wife, but my true wife the amount of dedication, what she gave up to come here to Eretz Yisrael. She's a world-class designer, interior decorator. She decorated very, very high-end buildings in Chicago. She decorated our real estate in the business, and she gave it all up. I can't imagine somebody, she doesn't do interior design here in Israel, she hasn't done it in 8 years. To leave everything like that, to leave a satisfying job and career and to come here so that I could be happy. I guess it really makes her happy, but she hasn't told me yet. So I know I have a tremendous Akaras HaTov, and I think everybody that watches the shir has a Akaras HaTov to her, and I really thank you. Standing ovation. Wow, wow. Shkoyach. Everybody, wow. Unreal. Raboysai, there's over 800 people in this room. Do you understand what that means? 800 people. Shali Shalach. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Shkoyach, thank you so much. Thank you.
Aishes Chayal
So, you better shut me up, baby.
Everybody together!
So Raboysai, Akaras HaTov, to the guys that started with us 4 years ago in Chaniche. The first guy into the shir, Noam fix, first guy. You know, we're sitting here with over 800 people, and it's incredible. It's a dream. I wrote it down. August 14th, 2018, the Siyum was in my dining room. The Siyum was in my dining room. I brought in a caterer. We didn't have any sponsors, no Lili Nishmas. And talking about, when I was looking it up, December 23rd, 2018, a guy arrived in the shir. He says, "Hi, my name is Yehuda Bakst. I'm from New York. I watch your shir on YouTube." I'm like, "What?" And then it hit me that when you're online, there are people, they're actually watching, and they want to be part of it. He was the first guest that we ever had in 2018 that came. No? You remember that guy? They remember. Tremendous Akaras HaTov to Noam for being the first one. The Nachman, he was the first one at the 8-minute daf Chazara that I used to do in my house. He was the first one at the shir, the daf Yomi shir. Gary Ben Moshe was there from the beginning, almost from the beginning. Avi was there also from the beginning. Yosef Biliak, I don't know where he is. Hey Yosef. Nachman Seitzer. Shkoyach Nachman for everything you do for the shir. Even Avi Gargir, from the beginning. Tremendous Akar Satayv. We wouldn't be here today at these numbers without the one and only Nesanel Gantz. Marketing genius. He picked the right horse and he ran with it. So Yishkoyach Nesanel. By the way, we are very lucky, and I want to introduce officially the man who came up with tonight's idea. It wasn't my idea, it wasn't our idea. We have a new man in the house, his name is To R Levy. It was his idea to do tonight's event, to blow it out of the water. And, you know, Tomer, since it's his idea, I'm not going to feel bad for him. But going into Shabbos, he hasn't slept for 48 hours. 48 hours straight, and I know this for a fact because we're texting at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then I saw him in cheer. He didn't sleep for 48 hours straight to make this event happen. So to make something like this, the amount of work, I'm talking about hundreds of hours. He probably spent over 30 to 40 hours just on the hechsher to make sure that's bedatz and the Heter Mechira, this place is not really the Heter Mechira kind of place. It is, I mean, but I meant the other thing. You chop what I'm saying. And to flip it and to do the hechsher and all the dishes had to go through the dishwasher 4 times. And we had a kasher, there was a kashering crew here for 2 straight days through the night. Kashering. There's a wedding, an affair here every single night of the year. And to get this place, he went and convinced the guy to do it on Motzei Shabbos. The amount of work. Bekitzer, we're very, very lucky to have Tomer. Give him a warm welcome. The new executive director of MDY. He's going to bring MDY to the next level. New app, new website, new Magid Cheer, everything. I need to thank Chaim Snow, who's on the video cameras, does a tremendous amount of work. He did a video, he disturbed me. Comes to my house, knocks on the door, 3:30 in the morning. Oh, I'm here to take a video of you. Shkoyach. Shlomi Rosenberg, by the way. Another guy behind the scenes in New York who does hundreds and hundreds of hours. He has a big business, but he puts in hundreds of hours. So Yishkoyach Shlomi. The Setzer brothers. Sabrina, by the way, tonight. The design, everything. Shabbos. The candies that had MDY imprinted in them. Unbelievable stuff. Eli Dolinsky, who does these tremendous music events with famous groups in America. He's part of the shir, and he dedicated his time and effort and resources to tonight's event, together with Rabbi Cohen. Where is he? Remy Cohen, Shkoya. So, Yishkoyach to every single one of you for making MDY what it is today. Yishkoyach, I know so many of you went out of your way to get another person to join and another person to change one life at a time. Raboysai, I really believe if we continue like this, bringing more and more people to Torah, connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Torah, and the achdus that we have, crazy achdus. It's look around. It's just you can't even understand it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sitting and smiling at us right now, and we'll bring Mashiach together. Let's make the Siyum. Oh no, I'm just going to say the last words. Thank you. I'm not going to say the Hadran, don't worry. Omer Bavo, Omer Belazar. Talmidei Chachamim ein ur shel Gehenim sheletes bahem. The fire of Gehenim doesn't touch the Talmidei Chachamim. Kavachayim is salamandra. There's an animal called a salamandra, like a salamander, like some sort of dragon, that is created by being in a fire for 7 years. This salamander is created from fire, and when you smear the blood on your body, you're protected from the fire. Certainly, Talmid Chacham, who is fire, so of course fire cannot affect him. So, a couple of things here. We just finished the sugya of Aliyah Regel, and the Moed Nevuchim, the Rambam in Moed Nevuchim says that the reason why, you probably don't remember, the whole sugya of Aliyah Regel and Chagiga at the end, we're reading Yivamis. And by the way, stick it out. Stick it out. You feel so good. This is where the difference between the real men is right here in Yivamis. Now, we're a little wimpy men because we have cartoons and everything, but don't be that guy. Oh, Chagiga was great, and Moed Katan, Megillah, and Taina is all great. No, this is where it's going to be fun. Lamdish Mesechta, Geshmak, it'll make your brain work. All those dead cells from all that Netflix. Here it is. It's going to be reborn. But the Rambam says, why do we go up an Oila Regel? Why do we go? To do this right here. And it reminded me of the Siyum. Klal Yisrael comes together 3 times a year in the Beis HaMikdash, and that was the sugya we just finished. There's no tumah from Amaretz. There's no tumah during those 7-8 days of Yontif. You know why? The Rambam says, because Klal Yisrael is one. We just had the pasuk. Klal Yisrael gets together, that achdus creates a break in that tumah. When we're together, we come together like this from all over the world. We have people from England, from Manchester, from London, from South Africa. People flew in with their wives to see this. How many dozens of people from America? Aliyah L'Regel, come to Eretz Yisrael to celebrate a Siyum. That Achdus eliminates Amaratzim. There's no Amaratzim when you have that Achdus. But I noticed the unbelievable thing here in what we just learned. It struck me, I couldn't believe it. Salamandra, says Rashi. Chaya nivris min ha'ur, it's an animal that's created from the fire. When you have a flame, you hear this, Noam and Gary? We have a flame for 7 years straight. Listen to this word, you're not going to believe it. Sheva shonim tomid b'li hefsek. We just spoke about tomid in Yivamis and what tomid, the carbon tomid, and how that has to do with Daf Yomi. Sheva shonim. What is 7 years, Raboysai? Daf Yomi. You finish Shas in 7 years, tomid. And what happens? You become a fire. You become a flame. You retard fire. Nothing could stop you. When you learn Shas, when you learn Torah Sheva Shonim Tamid, you get that protection of the salamandra. Nothing could harm you. It will change your life. You think your life was changed because you learned one Masechtas Chagiga? You wait and see what happens after you learn Yivamis. You wait and see what happens when you learn the whole Shas. That fire will give you the protection. Your life, your shalom bayis will be better. Your parnasa will be better. You know what Marad Nekash said over here? You know how many people told me that? You know how many times Yossi Klein told me? After I gave $30,000 to MDY, I got this deal. I'm not joking. I heard it over and over and over. Because that's the Koyach HaTorah. Weiter. Omer Shlokish, Ein Urshel Gehenim Shaletzeh V'Poishe Yisrael, those sinners of Klal Yisrael also don't have Gehenim. Kavachomer Mizbeach Hazov. Ma Mizbeach Hazov, Shein Alav El Koivi Din Hazov. The Mizbeach Hazov only has a thin layer of gold. Kama Shonim. There's fire on it every day to burn the Ketores. Ein Urshel, let this boy. It doesn't burn the Mizbeach itself. The gold, which typically melts under fire, under heat, is able to protect the Mizbeach. A sinner, but he has mitzvahs. He has mitzvahs. He does the daf occasionally. He shakes a lulav. He does slichot. whatever it is. I'll take your temple. These empty guys, you think they're empty, they're not empty. They have a lot of mitzvahs. Al achas, kama vekama, barad. Thank you. Did it say your name in this one? Woohoo!
Hadran alach masechet hagiga, v'adrach alan da'atach alan masechet hagiga v'da'atach alan.
Everybody can say it together. Everybody should say it.
La din Hashem minach masechet hagiga v'la din Hashem minan. La ba'alma din v'la ba'alma da'ateh. Yiratzon melefanecha Adonai Eloheinu. בסדר מועד, יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שתהא תורתך אמונתנו בעולם הזה, ותהא עמנו לעולם הבא, חנינא בר פפא, רמי בר פפא, נחמן בר פפא, חי בר פפא, אבא מורי בר פפא, רפרם בר פפא, רכיש בר פפא, סולחה בר פפא, עדה בר פפא, דרו בר פפא, הרבנה אדוני אלוהינו, את דברי תורתך בפינו, ובפיות עמך בישראל, ונהיה כולנו אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה, מאוהבי תחכמנו מצוותיך, כי לעולם היא לי, יהי ליבי, תאמין בחוקיך למען לא אבוש, לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך, כי בם חייתני. ברוך אתה אדוני, למדני חוקיך. אמן, 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 סלע ועד. מודים אנחנו לך, לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, ששמת חלקנו מיושבי בית המדרש, ולא שמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות. שאנו משכימים והם משכימים. אנו משכימים לדברי תורה והם משכימים לדברים בתהילים. אנו עמלים והם עמלים. אנו עמלים מקבלים שכר והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אנו רצים והם רצים. אנו רצים לחיי העולם הבא והם רצים לבאר שחת. שנאמר ואתה אלוהים תורידם לבאר שחת. אנשי דמים ורמה לא יחצו ימיהם ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון לפניך אדוני אלוהי. כשם שעזרתני לסיים מסכת חגיגה, בסדר מועד, כן תעזרני להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים לסיימם, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים ובדברי חכמים יעמוד לי וזרעי, שלא תמוש התורה מפי ומפי זרעי, וזרע זרעי עד עולם, ותתקיים בי ותהלתך תנחה אותך. ושוכבך תשמור עליך, והקיצותה היא תשיחה, כי בי ירבו ימיך, ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים, אורך ימים במינה, בשמאלה עושר וכבוד, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום. So I want to invite my uncle who happened to be in Israel haphazardly, so I asked him to come say the Kadish for us. What happened? Mizrach, 1 second. This way.
Yeah, good. Can I say a couple of words? This evening is dedicated, as say my nephew Murad. We can say a couple the Kadish in Eloi Nishmat. נפטר בקיצור ימים ושנים, Yaakov and Evelyn, as Murad said. Also, our father, Alav Shalom, Yosef and Sarah, my mother, Alice, Bat Nehama. Ruach Hashem Tenaham Ginayim. يتقدل ويتقدش شمه رباه. بعالمة دي هو عتيد اتحدث ويحيى متيا. ورأسكايته هون لحياة عامة ومقبول بنبني كرتال ديروشلم وشغل لا إخاله بجبه وعقار بالحنا نبرة من أرعى ولا تباب الحنا دي شميال أترى يملكوا جبل يخرج من الخطيب بكاره لصاحب الكانه بكاره مشيحه بحي خون وبيوم خون بحي خون بيت إسرائيل بعجلة وزمان قريب بامرو امين
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ועל מעלמיה יתברך וישבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שם הדי קודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה שירתה שביחתה ונחמתה דאמרה בעלמה ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנם ועל תלמידי הון ועל כל תלמידי תלמידי הון ועל כל מאן דעסקי מאורתה די באתרי אדם די וחלתה באתר יהיה להון וכון שלמה רבה חנה וחזה ברחמים וחיים ארוכים מזוני רוויחי ופורקנם וקודם אבו הון די בשמיה והרעה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה חיים וסבח בשעם נחמה שזבר ורפואה וגאולה ושיחה וכפרה ורבע סללן וכל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו וברחמיו הרבים יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Hey, Raboysai, we want to have a group picture. We want the world's largest good morning Raboysai. Everybody face the band. Everybody face the band.
With the backs to the band.
Everybody come to the front and face the band. Everyone, everybody.
Get little kids in the front, kids in the front. Little kids. Goldstein, where do we stand? Goldstein, where do we stand?
Everyone from the back, come in. Everybody in the back, come in. Yeah, back there, get up here, get up here, get up here, get up here. Come on, get up here, get up. Go, you two guys, get up here. Get up here.
Raboysai, unbelievable. You stay. Raboysai, I'm asking everybody from the back of the room. Everybody. We want to do a group picture that's one of a kind. Everybody, Beis Hashem, is going to be in the picture. You can't hide. We're going high up. We're going to go down. So everybody, please come to the front. You guys over there on the left, they don't have tags. If you're not part of the share, it's okay. You don't have to. Dambi, Yehuda, this way. Dambi, this way. You don't come to the front, I'll call you out by your first name. You in the back. Everybody's here. No, you're out of the picture. Come. Okay, and then we're gonna do a good morning Raboysai like you never saw before. Top of your lungs. This woman is a practice. Ready? Practice. One practice. Everybody together. Good morning, Raboysai! Beautiful! There we go. You guys on the side, come closer, he say. Come closer. Push in. We want everybody in the picture. Back it up. Everybody in the front, back up. Smush. Everybody look at the camera now. Hands down, hands down. Everybody hands down, smile. Hands down. Hold down. Hands down. Hands down. Smile. No cameras.
Smile. Get in. Get over here.
You ready for the video? Smile at the camera. Smile.
Get in. Gary's fine. Go.
Not everybody's in?
We
Get ready. Get set. Everybody together. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Raboysai. Everybody please climb
very much. Kindly find your seats. Main course is served already on your tables. Reb Nachman Seitzer to do a special duet with Spiel for a very special song that was written especially for MDY.
להתיישב במקומות, סעודת מצווה בתיאבון לכולם.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying their meal. Please be seated, everybody. Everybody, please be seated. We have a very special speaker that's going to be joining us in a minute, and it's very important to give him the utmost respect that he deserves. Thank you, everybody. Let me talk briefly about this speaker and tell you how a little story about our first encounter in person. As a lot of people know, Eli's dubbed me CFO of MDY, but my full-time, as a lot of people know, I travel a lot for my business, and I find myself regularly in the United States. Thank you. Thank you very much. L'chaim. L'chaim, everybody. So I find myself regularly in the United States, and a lot of times I travel from Newark back to Israel. One day I was driving to Newark, and I get a phone call on my phone from Nesanel Gantz. Better? Nesanel Gantz asks me, I hear you're in America, I want to meet with you. I said, okay, we can meet. And I said, you know what, I have just a couple hours before my flight. I know there's a restaurant in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He's like, I know the place. They have the best Chinese food. Anybody who's been to the Chinese restaurant in Elizabeth knows what I'm talking about. So I go there, and he gives me a laundry list of food to order. This was the biggest list of food, and I'm thinking he's bringing a whole entourage of people to meet with me. It must have been like $200 worth of food in this fast food takeout where the highest thing on the menu is about $5. He's making me order all this food, and we get done, and I'm, okay, I got all this food, and I'm ready. He's about to show up. They tell me we're not allowed to eat in the restaurant because of COVID. I said, what am I going to eat? I said, can we put a table outside in the street and just sit outside in the street? They said, no way. It was a whole big to-do, a whole big fight. So we ended up moving our meeting to some random shul in Elizabeth, in the basement of the shul in their cafeteria. But it turns out the only person that showed up was Nesanel, and he had $200 worth of Chinese takeout food that he wanted to eat. But all jokes aside, Nesanel impressed me beyond belief when I met with him. You're talking about an individual who, we talk about people that are busy. This man is running around from organization to organization and helping out Klal Yisrael on a regular basis. You can read him interviewing random business people who have affected Klal Yisrael inside Ami magazine on a weekly basis. He does the lunch break news. And one of the first interviews that I remember he ever did was of Eli, was a Reb Eli and his business. Nesanel looked at me, and he had vision. Nesanel had tremendous vision for MDY. And Nesanel has come up with an unbelievable marketing work for MDY and has put in so much time and effort. And all the things people see on Yeshiva World and all the various marketing activities that happen in MDY, they're all a credit to Nesanel Gantz. So before we call up Nesanel Gantz, let's give Nesanel Gantz a round of applause. Nesanel Gantz, we at MDY, we appreciate you and appreciate all that you've done to help us take it to the next level. Without further ado, Nesanel Gantz.
Here I am thinking they're going to give me like all these covered things. And now I told them to zoom in so they shouldn't see my whole stomach after all the food that I have prepared. It's mamash abusha. But Lamaisa, I'm happy because now any gaiva that I had before I got up to speak is totally out the window. Reb Eli taught me that. So I think you could actually say good morning, Raboysai, because it's past 12 a.m. So I'm going to try to make my speech short. Reb Eli asked me before I start yesterday, he said, Nesanel, I have so much hakaras toiv to you for all you did for the shir. But I want to ask you, how many times are you going to mention
during your speech how you built up the shir? The answer is only once now, but it's going to last the whole speech, so don't worry. With Hashem's help, everything I'm about to say will apply to everyone here, everyone who's watching live, everyone who's going to watch later as part of MDY in America, around the world, and especially the people that are going to be joining our daf. And with Hashem's help, everyone is going to bring somebody. There are two questions that I am asked more than any question ever in regards to MDY, and that is the following. What's the magic of MDY? And what schus does Reb Eli Stefansky have that he has this schus? Because I want to tell you, when people think that Reb Eli gives the biggest daf Yomi shir in the world, it's a mistake. It's not true. He gives the biggest shir in the world, period. It's the biggest Maggid shir in Kol HaTorah, in the whole world, and no one's even a close second. It's such a schus to be here. Everyone has a schus. So what does Reb Eli have this schus? How does he get this tremendous schiyah? Everyone asked me, so I said, I'm not the Rebbeinu Shalom, and I wait till I asked him that question. And what's the magic of MDY? How does this everyone come together, helping each other? Litvish, Hasidish. How appropriate was it to have a Syrian make the Hadran that most guys never heard this accent in their life? Well, Rapapa, what's a Rapapa? What's a Rapapa? They don't know what that is even. It's Rapapa for all the Ashkenazim, by the way. So they asked me to thank a few people who were instrumental in starting the shir. And I'm hesitant to do that because they're definitely going to miss some people. However, it's important to recognize what one person can do. One person can make an impact. And soon I'm going to reveal who, in my opinion, is the most important person in MDY, and no one's even close to this person. This person has the most influence, the biggest chizuk, and is the most integral part of the entire shir, without a question in my mind. A few years ago, before Masechtas Brachas, Benzi Friedman, my best friend since I'm 10 years old, and Eli's partner calls me up and is like, Nesanel, you know Eli has a shir. Maybe you could promote it a little bit. This was before Masechtas Brachas. I said, listen, there's no way I'm trying to promote the regular shir because everyone and his grandfather-in-law is giving a daf Yomi shir, so there's no way they're going to market that. I said, but the 8-minute daf, I get that every person's going to think it's only 8 minutes, then they'll chap, and blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what we did. I haven't marketed the 8-minute daf since Brachas for various reasons that should remain it's private, why we don't market the 8-minute daf anymore. And it brought so many people. We actually signed 12,000 people the first day. We had a few hundred, slowly but surely. One phone call, one person. Look at the impact that he had. You know, the last time I was by a shir by Reb Eli before Friday, it was in Chanicha Yeshivas. There's 20 people. Reb Eli's filming on his cell phone. And he was so excited that there's 30 people watching online. 30 people watching online. He was so excited. And you think about the 8-minute daf. You know how many people came from the 8-minute daf that were in part of the shir today? Uncle Phil, Mark, Fischel, Yossi, to name a few. That's one phone call from Benzi Friedman. Look what it accomplished. And you'll see what this amazing person later on, when I mention this person's name, you'll see that they definitely have done the most for the shir. So slowly I built up the shir and I met a yid by the name of Yossi Klein. I can't even say it with an English accent. Who every time calls me 5 times a day. And it's interesting, Yossi is the only person in the world that Hashem himself is the CEO, runs his company, because he doesn't do anything in his business. He runs a daf. So Hashem takes care of his business, his pasha. He's never involved in plumbing. Never. And then we came out with the Free Gemara campaign, and Yossi says, I'm here, and we came together, and look how many people came together to support one another. People call up. You know, Nekash was the first person to call me up. He said, let's make a matching campaign. Wherever anyone donates, I'll match it. Okay. So now we have people giving out free Gemaras, but it's not fair. Because people who are part of the shir can't get a free Gemara. Chutzpah. We also want free stuff. We're all Yidden, obviously. So then Murad's like, let's make a raffle. Anyone who gets someone to join the shir, I'll give them to a raffle for a trip to Eretz Yisrael or a shas. I call Fischel from Baltimore, and Fischel's not here. He's a larger-than-life individual in many ways. And Fischel goes, I don't like raffles. I'm not going to do raffles. No raffles. I would give a Gemara to anyone who joins the shir. So anyone who gets someone's going to get a free Gemara? You know how many people are going to do that? Yep. So he took about himself. That's why Grow the Shir happened. The concept of people bringing other people. Look at one idea. Look at one person that comes. And this whole concept of we bring other people to Torah. You have Chashiv Balabatim who are Balei Gaiva sometimes. And then they go and they lower themselves, Kaviyachal, and say, hey, you want to join the Shir? Come join the Shir. Join dafyomi.com.
Join dafyomi.com. Put on the screen right here. Thank you. And slowly but surely, you have Dov Harris who went to the UK. You know, he's a Dov Harris in the back. Everyone's giving a tremendous round of applause. Mamish built up the UK. He used to go hand in hand. This is a businessman going delivering Gemaras one-on-one. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if every night you have Mark Ashkenazi and Eli Thank up at 12:15 managing the Zoom? There's so many people who do so many things. Where does one person come and give an impact? You know what your impact is. You know what you're doing. So many people have decided to make one big choice, one decision, and impacts the whole world. You know, the second question was, I said, how do you have a person like Reb Eli who is zoicha to such a thing? How does this man, Taka, have the schus to be the biggest daf yomi shir in the world? And you should know, I spoke to an Odom Gadol before, I think considered from the most chashuv people in Klal Yisrael today, who told me it's not so simple to call him Eli. You have to call Reb Eli. Even in my house, he might hate me for this, Reb Eli, you michel me, hopefully. But everyone has to call Reb Eli. You can't just call him a person who's the biggest maggid shir in the world. It's not so simple. And you know, I wanted to just tell you something, the amount of work that he puts in. People don't chap. You know, I have messages on my phone. I went through with my children and I showed them something one day. I showed them a whole week straight. I have messages from Eli till 1 a.m. and then again at 3:30 a.m. for a week straight. I'm going to sleep. I just got up. I'm going to sleep. I just got up. And you think it's always easy for him? Imagine the last time you got up at 3:30. You think you could function? I have some messages. I have it saved. I have it starred. But Eli's, Samuel, it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. But the chizik that he gives is the same chizik that you learn about the person soon, who is the most important part of this year. Now, everyone is important. But here's the second reason why I believe Reb Eli was matzliach. Do you know that Reb Eli Stefansky gave a shir for 8 years for 3 guys? But here is the key. Reb Eli has one dream. He told me he was once by a friend of his for Yontif. And the guy was making fun of him. You learn daf yomi? You're a loser. Maggid shir, daf yomi. Eon! You have to know Eon. What's his daf yomi? He said, Nesanel, I was this guy for 3 days. Yontif. He didn't open a sefer once. Could be. He didn't open a sefer once. If I can get every Ben Torah to learn more, everyone to learn more Torah, I want to do it. I consider myself a friend of his. You know how many times you learn the daf? You learn the daf? Why you learn the daf? Why you learn the daf? You learn the daf? Talk to me when you learn the daf. His desire and goal is that every person in Klal Yisrael, every man, every bacher can learn more Torah. And when a person wants to increase the Torah in the world, Hashem guides in that way. And that's why everyone is here, because of him, because of that desire. And that's what happens. And look at this accomplishment. Everything becomes of his ratzon to teach more Torah. And Hashem said, if you want to, I'll make sure it happens. There's a reason why the Rebbe said that when he was younger, that he'd be from the biggest Mabitsei Torah in the world. Look how it came true. Now, let me tell you who the most important person is in this year. And without a question, the success of this year, the success of everything in MDY, and the only way that this year would work out is because of one person, and that person is you. Every person sitting in this room. There is no group without the individual. It's a collective unit of everyone together that makes up this year. I want to share with you 2 mahalchim that Reb Eli teaches. You might not have thought of this, but what is the most difficult and most important thing in life at the same time? The secret to success in life or in business is 2 things, and I hope you'll agree with me. It's commitment to doing the right thing, but when you mess up, you keep on going weiter. Sheva yipol tzadik v'kum. Don't give up, but you have to try to be consistent. Think about how Reb Eli's 2 messages is teaching us this every day, and how he himself is the living example of this. What's the 2 most famous statements of Reb Eli? Let's put aside Gishmak, learn the daf, okay? It's not really a statement, it's just Gishmak. 2 most important statements are, it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. Every day be consistent. Don't give up. 900 days he does it in a row. What a better example for us. Keep on going, keep on trying, but if you mess up, if you fail, skip. Go ahead. Keep on going weiter. Reb Eli gives us the tools to succeed in life. We have to keep on going. Try, but if you fail, keep on going. And every day when he starts off and he shows up, he's giving us that example that we can do it, and we can too try to go further. Understand this, and I'll end with this. It's not easy to learn the daf. But you do it anyways and you keep on going. But when you mess up and you think it's difficult, and when you're having a difficult time and you're late at night and you're tired, remember, Raboysai, 10,000 Yidden are holding you and pushing you forward. When a guy is sick in the hospital, 10,000 Yidden are holding us together, and we are all together going forward as one. Kuchabrichu, Yisrael, Varaisa, Chadhu. We are all one unit. We all help each other. You are not alone. MDY is not a group of 10,000 Yidden. We are 10,000 individuals that come together as one unit. It's MDY, Merkaz Daf Yomi. We're Mishpach of Daf Yomi. We're Mishpach of dedicated Yidden. We're all special together. And I'll end with this. People say the Daf changed my life. But the truth is, you change your life the day you decide to commit to this Daf. The day you decide to join MDY, you change your own life. So it's about the Yomi. You keep on going weiter. When you fail, skip ahead. Don't go back. We are the united people. We are one together. MDY is not 10,000 people. MDY is one person, 10,000 times interlocked, helping each other, giving chizuk. That's a secret to MDY. We are all together. Wherever you go, we connect, we help each other, and we give chizuk to each other. You know how many people tell me when they're watching the shir, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. You're never alone when you're part of the shir. No matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, no matter what difficulties you have in life, myself, Reb Eli, and 10,000 people are behind you saying, keep on going. And with that, let us continue together. And as Reb Eli says, let's go weiter and finish that together. Thank you so much.
To pull off an event like this is beyond words. This is something we're going to be eating off of for the next long while. This will pull us through for the next 4 months of Yavamas. It goes without saying, and we mentioned it, but we want to once again mention a very, very big Yasher Koach, specifically to two individuals, Tomer Levy and Sabrina Kamiansky, who put endless hours, non-stop, Yom v'Layla. Tomer, we have a small gift arranged for you. Come on up. It won't help for you to say no, it's here. Under there. It's a small little gift for Tomer. You could open it up. Open it up. You can know, but open it up for the picture. And now you know that Avi and I, every Siyum, try to come up with a gift that's appropriate for Eli. Every Siyum we try to come up with a gift. Eli, du Herst. And we thought, what more of an appropriate gift for Eli than to invite 800 people that came to learn Yavamas. That's Eli's gift. But we knew that Eli would appreciate something else. Reb Eli. Reb Eli would appreciate a gift that his wife would want. And so we took the liberty of getting something not for Reb Eli, but for Reb Eli's Rebbitzin. Open it up. Open it up. No? Yeah, open it up. Either one. Open one up.
Stickmachers.
Just wait till Purim, Eli.
Anything is better than a sign on the back of a bus. I don't care. It could be toilet paper. Woo, what is this? Butterflies, butterflies. What is this?
Explain.
This is, we did some research and we wanted to find out, we know it's impossible to get Eli something that he would really like, and we have to come up with interesting things all the time. So we did some research to find out what Reb Stefansky would like. And we did some research and we got her some nice stuff. They're ornaments of kind, but we heard that this is on her gift list.
I actually was dying to get some butterflies myself. So Shkoyach, thanks for the butterflies. What is this? And I always wanted 6 butterflies. Shkoyach! I really appreciate it. All those nights, those sleepless nights, and the 6 butterflies was all worth it. Be'ezer Hashem, next Siyum, bumblebees. Yishkoyach! Wow! Purim Sameach.
We're going to call up next Tomer Levy. As Eli said, Tomer Levy has been a tremendous asset to help us in the last month or so and has really jumped all in. Yeah, it's high end. Yeah.
High-end butterflies, I love it.
Tomer Levy, without further ado, Tomer, come up.
Bershus, Rav Eli and Fegi, Stefansky, Chaverim of the Koilel, guests from abroad. We have many who flew in. The MDY executive team, the MDY regular team, producers, MDY family and friends. I want to thank you all for coming. I'm going to make it very short because it's late in the evening. A few thank yous very quickly to the owner of this hall, Rav Shalom Muyal, who allowed us to pull off an event like this on a Motzei Shabbos when the hall is generally locked down. He has booked out this hall for the next 8 months, and it's almost impossible to get a hall like this on short notice. MDY Gematria, short notice. So I want to thank Shalom Muyal and the chef Eyal Marziano, the mashkichim, Nisim Peretz, our party planner Nathaniel Junger, Sabrina Kamiansky for doing a fascinating job. Also my wife Dina Levy for allowing me to not be around for the last month and pull through this project. 2 months ago, when we decided we were going to do a Siyum, Rav Eli said there'll be 300 people. And I said, I don't think so. The last one we had 300 people. If we're going to do a big one, we need a big place. And everyone said, no, why do you want to commit? Nobody will come. And Rav Eli has taught us, when you have the naysayers, then you just go out on the day and you book the best hall in Beit Shemesh. And that's what I did. Thank you, Rav Eli, for giving us the inspiration. Having spent a few minutes with Rav Eli in the last few weeks, maybe 2 months, I can truly say that Rav Eli spends most of his day and night. I get text messages from him at 1, at 2, at 3, at 4. If it's not him, it's Nesanel, it's Yossi Klein, it's the people in America. The shir starts at 7, Shachris is at 6:30. I can truly say Rav Eli spends most of his day preparing the daf. He is truly an all-day daffer. Let's call him ADD. I want to thank everyone for joining who has been touched with this shir. We're touched by the shir and by the inspiration. Our pledge to you, Reb Eli and Fegi, is to, I'm sure I share this thought with everyone who has joined us, is that we will give you the tools and support you as much as we can to bring back our Rainbow Nation. You have had your calling that we're going to reading this week. Leich Knois es Kol HaYehudim. Bring back all the nation. We have MDY people in Bermuda and Brazil, from Melbourne to Monaco, and everywhere in between. And our pledge to you is to give you the support to grow the shir even more. Reb Eli has many sayings. It's not about the daf, it's about the money. Sorry, the yomi. You've truly changed my life, which I think I can say. I used to work from 9 to 5. I used to eat regular meals. I used to sleep regular hours. Now I don't eat, I don't sleep. I work 24/7. So Reb Eli, you've truly changed my life, and I thank you for that. People tune in to the shir on Zoom, on YouTube, on Oldaf, and live. And we wanted to let people appreciate what it is to produce the 45-minute Reb Eli Stefansky show. And in that respect, we decided to do a video, a short clip, which encompasses a day in MDY. And I'd like to ask Chaim Snow to take it away. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I try to get up anywhere between 3:30 and 4 so I could get 2.5 hours of learning and preparing charts before shir. I want it to be like really fresh. The really good ideas, unfortunately, they happen early in the morning before shir, and I'm rushing to get this prop, that thing. But as I'm learning the first time, if something pops in my head, I make a note of it. The first time I look at the Gemara, I'm not like looking so much to entertain and see something like a different chart or whatever. I'm just trying to understand pshat, good pshat. And good pshat doesn't come for me right away. Raboysai. I literally felt you were talking to me directly, live at that moment, because I was watching the show in New York at 7:30 a.m. I have a record going 800 plus days straight. Gary has the same record basically. He's been with us from day one, and he's nechbal kalim. He's very quiet. He doesn't want a lot to be spoken about him, but he comes every single day. He has to be on time. He can't sleep in, and he does a lot of work. Have a wonderful day. Hadran Alochein Darshan. Hadran Alochein Darshan. Hadran Alochein Darshan. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Noam.
Where are you from?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. Shalom Aleichem. Wow. Get over here. Where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
What's your name? Moshe Tzvidauer, Shalom Aleichem. Here, we got more. You're from Memphis, right? Memphis, Tennessee.
Thank you very much.
Shalom, what's your name?
Aryeh Blau.
Aryeh Blau, from where?
Toronto.
Toronto, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Uri Abramoff.
Shalom, where are you from?
New Jersey, Elizabeth Hillside, New Jersey.
That's New Jersey. We got a lot of guests there. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Nachman Hurwitz.
From?
Baltimore.
Nachman is from Baltimore. We got another one. Unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem, guys. I only got a minute. I only have a minute left because we had so many guests today. Here, speak up a little bit. I can't hear you. Yosef is doing all the editing. He also works crazy hours, whether it's editing the actual shir, the 8-minute daf, WhatsApp, all emails, you name it, all day long.
I know growing up, I didn't enjoy learning. I went to yeshiva, I went to kolo, and learning was a struggle. But now we have an opportunity to learn and enjoy ourselves. I have a chance to add things to the screen to make things a little bit more interesting. We've got a fantastic Maggid Shir. So the combination of what Reb Eli can offer and what I can bring to the screen, my goal is that people should smile, they should be happy, and they should remember things.
Now, if we skip, so the following day's shir starts at 9:30. The entire day I'm in this room right here, in this shir, which overlooks Ramat Bet Shemesh. I have a great view into the kitchen. My wife could see me all day long. The kids, the children, they see me learning. And for an hour, 10 minutes every day, I go out, I go to the MDY Kollel, and I learn with my Rebbe, my Chavrusa, Reb Yedidya Kramer.
מזמר בכל יום בלימוד התורה אמא טוב מזמר בכל יום בלימוד התורה אמא טוב מזמר בכל יום בלימוד התורה גם התורה יזמר לך
Basically, at the end of the day, it takes all day to prepare the shir. All day. Shabbos, I get up Vasikin. I learn before Vasikin because my Chavrusa davens Vasikin. We're already sitting and learning at 8 o'clock. I do get to sleep a little bit more on Shabbos though, because the shir is Motzei Shabbos, but not that much more. Crazy amount of people behind the scenes. You have Avi Kamiansky with the finance, you have Noam Fix running a lot of stuff, and now we have Baruch Hashem, doesn't want me to talk about it, Tomer Levy, executive director of MDY, and it's unbelievable, it's a game changer for MDY. And you have all these other people, you have Mark Ashkenazi, and Uncle Phil, and Eli Thank, Nesanel Gantz, the amount of work that he's done for MDY with the Gemara campaign and the marketing. He's brought it from its infancy. We only had a few hundred people, 1,000 people to what it is today with marketing and all this stuff. Yossi Klein, stress relief pill, unbelievable. And just the names go on and on and on and on and on. So many. Nachman Seitzer does a tremendous amount for this year. You have the Setzer boys that are not related to Nachman. Nechemia Seitzer, Mordechai Seitzer, just tons of people. I know I'm missing people, but there's great. Avi Gargir, Sabrina, the Siyum. So there's just a lot of people behind the scenes that get the shir going and keep it going.
What is your long-term goal with this year?
It's just to get more people to learn Torah. The more, the better. If I'm on the street and I see a guy that maybe he's not really dedicating enough time for learning, I'll go over him and say, okay, yeah, we have over 10,000 people learning. I need 10,001. One more yid to learn Torah. So it's not a goal, a certain number. Yeah, I'd like to say 100,000 people, 2 million people. More yid than learning Torah. keep on going. Push it, push it.
Even not in sugyas of Tumah V'Tayra, and that is the concept of chulin shenasu al Tyrus HaKadosh. So just by background, there were people that they were so nizzer in the world of Tumah V'Tayra, their house was so amazing.
It just happened to go on by mistake. I never used shul, never.
Thank you, Chaim Snow. What an incredible video. Gavach, everybody, and Mazel Tov. My name is Mark Ashkenazi. I am not from Brooklyn. People try to avoid saying thank you, but before I get started, okay, in the next 5 minutes, the Yerushalayim bus and the Beit Shemesh bus are going to be leaving. The first one. So I got to be quick, all right? I want all of you to hear what I didn't prepare to say. It's always, like others have said, it's always dangerous to say thank you because you're always going to leave people out. But I wanted to say thank you, Mirad Nekash, for picking up my call that day when Yosef Biliak forwarded this email to me and said, I'm not sure if this guy's even Jewish. But he's really a tzaddik and a special person and an Anav Gadol. And it's really exceptional that we have him as part of the Shir and helping out MDY and doing everything he can. Reb Eli asked me to say a few words because it's important that everybody knows that just like many of you in the room and many of you on Zoom and many of you on YouTube, many of us walked away from yeshiva, ran away from yeshiva, got thrown out of yeshiva, and never opened the sefer for many, many years. I was one of those people, and I give credit to my dear friend and special uncle, quote unquote, Phil Rosenblatt, who shepherded me for a long time that I got to check out this thing and I don't learn. I'm sorry, it's not for me. But Baruch Hashem, I was finally able to understand the words that I say every day in Shemona Esrei. At the end of Shemona Esrei, the pasuk in Tehilim for the name Mark is Ma Hafti Sorosecha Kol Hayom Hisi Chasi. And I never learned Torah, I never learned Gemara every day until I met Reb Eli, and I had to watch a shir for other reasons, and then I had to watch another shir for another reason, and by the third shir, I was hooked. So thank you, Reb Eli. Thank you, Mrs. Fagi Stefansky, for giving us Reb Eli. Thank you to all the Stefansky kids and the whole family from top to bottom for giving up everything you do and enabling us to have such an exceptional Maggid Shir, such an exceptional group that keeps growing and enabling me to, the world is on Torah, Avoda, and Gemilas Chasadim. Avoda we had in the house, Gemilas Chesed we have in the house, and now we can say we have Torah in the house. Every night at 12:15 a.m., a little bit before, my family knows, I'm in the basement, I'm in the bunker, I'm on Zoom, and we're trying to keep the bombers out. So thank you for entrusting me, and thank you everybody for looking after me on Zoom. I wasn't on for a few days because of jet lag, and I got so many messages from people that were concerned why I'm not on, am I okay? So I want to thank you. I just want to say that we want to have in mind a refuah shalema for Daniel ben Rachel. This is a relative of Moed Nekash who fell last week and might need surgery tonight. So everyone should please have in mind for Marad's father-in-law, Daniel ben Rachel, for refuah shalema Bakarov. I want to ask to come up a friend of mine that I made through MDY, somebody that I get to partner with through a lot of under-the-radar chesed, a really special person, somebody that we know as Landy from Monsey Chaverim, should please come up and say a few words. Mo's had a huge impact on the shir, and we'd like him to introduce himself to everybody. Mo, come up, don't wait, I'll just keep going until you get here. So, Mazal Tov, everybody. Looking forward to many more Siyumim. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. One of my favorite things to do is public speaking. And mamish enjoy every minute of it. So, I want to give Reb Eli a special shkoyach because not everybody gets a chance to say thank you the way we could, the way we should. You can write an email, maybe you read it, maybe you won't read it. You'll talk about it, and maybe it's real, maybe it's not real. But to get up and to be able to say a real ernstly yasher koyach for everything that you've done for me personally, for us as a klal, I can just tell you, we're running a little late, so I'll keep it short. But when I first started the daf, I was not in a good place in my life. I wasn't holding by learning every day. The concept was a foreign concept to me. And I was by a shloshim suda of my friend's father. His name is Moshe Elazar ben Matashal, Meshamash ben Aliyah. And I was makabel at the shloshim because he was a Maggid shir for many years. I was makabel to join Daf Yomi, and I started Daf Yomi with Reb Eli. And it didn't make sense. If I would explain to somebody where I was holding in that time, it wouldn't make sense to start a Daf Yomi shir smack in the middle of Sukkah. But I did, and I got huge chizuk. The first daf was the night of your son's chasana. I told you this Friday night. And that was it. From then I was blown away. 2 days later I was at the Shev Brachas already, gave you Mazel Tov. But from that time, it was a little bit every single day. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you honestly, the only shaykhis I had to Yiddishkeit for the entire day was your Daf Yomi shir. MS. The only shaykhis that I had, the only thing that I did was your Daf Yomi shir. So shkayach, thank you very much. And I want to say, MS, I want to say Avart. We all had an amazing experience before. We were all dancing. We didn't matter where you were dancing, who you were dancing with. The point is we were all dancing together. I heard of Vart, I remember a long time ago. The word rikud is the two words combined of rak, yud. When Yidden dance together, all the other chitzonias fall away, and only the yid is left. It's rak, yud, only the yid. And you're standing one yid with another yid. It doesn't make a difference who he is and what he looks like and where he's from. But you're standing next to another yid and you're dancing for a Havetz HaTorah and a Havetz Yisrael. And I don't understand, and like Shlomi Klein said, he's on a flight and he should get home safely. Shlomi Klein said, if you see the mix in Klal Yisrael that's going on here tonight, he goes, I don't know what Mashiach looks like, but he's on his way. And we should be zeicher to greet Mashiach together and to continue learning together with Ahava and with Cheshek. Thank you very much, Reb Eli. I appreciate it.
Achron Chaviv, we have one last speech, one last person who's going to be speaking. I just want to say one nekuda. Eli, Reb Eli. I called you Reb Eli. Okay. Reb Eli, they moved to Ramat Beit Shemesh in 2014. I was davening in Bnei Yeshivas, and one Friday night, Reb Eli, I want to tell you this. Reb Eli, I want you to give me a little attention over here. One Friday night, into our shul walks this man. He sits down on my bench. He sits next to me. I'm looking at him. He looks familiar. And we're talking. I said, what's your name? He tells me, Eli Stefansky. I'm looking at him. I say, wait a second. Weren't you in Ami magazine? You look familiar in Ami magazine. Yeah. I was interviewed by Nesanel Gantz. The kid, so he walked. From that moment on, we have shaykhs. That was it. That moment he sat on my bench, and from then on, we have shaykhs. I heard. I don't remember where I heard this Nakuda. But the people you have shaykhs to in this world are people that you stood next to by Har Sinai. Okay, that means we must have stood next to each other at Har Sinai. L'chayro, right next to each other. And if there's 10,000 people that are part of MDY, that means at Har Sinai there was a separate section that was the MDY section at Har Sinai. I don't know, that's my feeling. Everybody who's part of it, you were all there back at Har Sinai together. Now, to introduce the final speaker. Many years ago, I was head counselor in Machanayim, and I drove to Yerushalayim in camp, and there were boys coming from Ramat Beit Shemesh. One of the boys, he's now a grown-up, and I drove in with him. I was head counselor, and he was a kid. And he was coming in from Ramat Beit Shemesh. The family moved. Where'd you move from? Atlanta, Georgia. They say his name now, Elyokim, like from Atlanta. Tachlis, his father's a Choshva Reb Eli Aranoff, and he's part of a stellar member of the Koilo. And the Koilo, what do? So a few very short nakudas. Number one, the Koilo is taking tests on 1,000 daf with Tosfos. They're about to take now 1,000 daf with Tosfos Dirshu test, and they get hundreds, they get 99s, 98s. There's a tremendous achdus of the Koilo. But another very important point, and with this I call up Reb Elyokim Aranoff, is that the Koilo feels a tremendous obligation. Everything they do is part of the share. They back up. They're the backup team. And everything they learn is to give to Reb Eli to make the share better. And that is why, but he's walking the share not so long ago, and he's not sure what to say. There's the kuda. I need something to add. And he gets a phone call at 7 in the morning from Elyokim. He says to him, I want to tell you a vart. And that vart added tremendous chiyus to the share that day. And that's the nakuda. The koilo is not just the koilo. The koilo is mamish, the koilo of the shir, and they're bringing it to the daf. And these are stellar members. These are guys who are hitting grand slams every day. We're lucky to have them. We're lucky to be affiliated with Tashbnei Torah. Without further ado, Reb Elyokim Aranoff representing the koilo.
A good vach, Raboysai. I thought they only do that for Reb Eli. I was given only 3 minutes to speak, and Bezrat Hashem I plan to use only 3 minutes, but as known Reb Eli's shir, those 3 minutes do not include emails. Therefore, I brought here 20 or 30 emails to read out before my 3 minutes start, Bezrat Hashem. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. My parents made Aliyah in 2000 to Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph. The days when the Grashul was in Revim 16 and Nachman Seitzer still gave the Pirchei between Kabbalah Shabbos and Mariv. There's still a story that he gave 26 parts of that he didn't end. You owe me the end of that story. No, now really. I want to thank every single person that's hearing this now that's ever sent an email to Reb Eli Shir. Even though I'm in the kollel, every once in a while I listen to the shir, mainly on recording on Kol Lashon on my kosher cell phone, while I'm trying to clean the house. And I had a tremendous dilemma for years. The problem is, whenever I'm listening to the shir when I'm cleaning the house, either Friday, Moed Shabbos, in the middle of the week, it's very annoying to have to turn off the shir every time I walk into the bathroom to clean and turn it on when I leave the bathroom. Thank you, Reb Eli, for the revolutionary shir with 10 minutes of emails in the beginning so I can clean the bathrooms, and 35 minutes afterwards so I can clean the rest of the house. If one week would be without emails, my bathrooms would not be cleaned. There is one email I do want to read, an email from 2006 from the color war of Atlanta, Georgia, Beth Jacob Kehila. Rosh Chodesh Adar, they had a 17-day color war. Maybe MDY should do this also. Twin teams in blue and white, the entire shul, the entire Kehila. We were already in Israel, but my father printed out the emails for us, and there was a question there, the best question I've ever heard on Purim. The question is, Purim L'chayra is the Chag of Achdus. The Chag, we have over there, we have Mishta V'Simcha with our friends, we have Matanas Levyoni, Mishlach Monos. If you're on an island by yourself, you cannot be Mekayim Mitzvahs Purim. If so, why is Purim the only holiday that Klal Yisrael celebrates on 2 separate days? Some on Yudalit, some on Tesvav. L'chayr should be exactly the opposite. 10 years later, in 2016, after being drunk for 48 hours straight on Purim Yudalit and Tesvav, on Friday night I sat and read my emails that I had in my Purim folder. And I have a murdik teretz. I think the teretz is, if you ask people today how to bring Achdus to Klal Yisrael, most people in Klal Yisrael will tell you it's a very simple formula. When every single person in Klal Yisrael looks exactly like me, we will have Achdus. Until then, we are stuck. That's why we're waiting for Mashiach to come. But that's what Purim teaches us. That is not the way to bring Achdus to Klal Yisrael. The way to bring Achdus to Klal Yisrael is to recognize, even though your brother is doing the exact opposite of you in many ways, as long as both of us are trying to do our best of Ratzon Hashem, that will bring Achdus. That is what we teach us on Purim. On Purim, on Yudalid, I am drunk and dancing on the table saying, Ora Mordechai. My friend Yushalayim is sitting and steiging saying, Baruch Mordechai. And the next day it's the opposite. That is the way to bring true Achdus. Look around you, and you can see what true Achdus is. As many speakers said before me, Baruch Hashem, I want to thank, also in the Koilel, my Chavrusa, Moshe Barzetsky, which has no idea what I'm saying now, he doesn't understand a word of English, a chassid with a shtreimel, that the only way I'm zoiche to have such a Chavrusa is b'schus MDY. Don't worry, his wife understands English, will translate for him soon. How does such a thing come? It was asked before tonight, how does Reb Eli have this immediate connection with every single type of Jew, no matter what? How does this come? So I think it's a very simple formula. If anybody wants to have the ability to connect to every single Jew, it's very simple. If you, for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 356 days a year, all you try to do all day is think, how can I embarrass myself more than I've done until now? To bring one more Jew to learn the daf? If I fall on the table, if I sit on a lion on the table, if I eat fish blood, will that bring one more Jew closer to Kadish Baruch Hu? Will that bring one more Jew to have more geschmack in learning? He will do it. If you would have such a passion, so too you will be able to connect to every single Jew. I fully believe that if every single person that sat here, most people are already at home, and are watching this, would have the same passion as Reb Eli, Mashiach will not be here anytime soon. If everybody would have such a passion, Mashiach will be here with us now. A good vach.
All right, we're wrapping it up. I want to say thank you. First of all, I missed a few people. I need to say thank you to the Koilel guys. You heard from Reb Elyokim. He's one of the biggest contributors to the shir. You have Reb Menachem Mendel Fenster, who's supposed to speak, but because of the time, he's not speaking now. The Belzer Chassid is right over there. He knows he scored the highest score in Shas in the world. Elyokim, by the way, also knows Shas, scores hundreds on Dirshu test. I'll tell you, it's almost impossible. I tried it myself. I was in the Dirshu program. The highest I ever scored, I think, was a 95 or a 96. To get 100 consistently is unbelievable. And as they mentioned, 1,000 daf with Taisvis. With Taisvis. That's the test they're working on now. So thank you to all the guys in the Koilel. Also, they didn't mention, I think his name is Nesanel Unger. He's a designer of high-end parties who's part of the shir. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him in a bit. But I know he did a tremendous amount of work, so thank you to him. I want to say thank you to the children of MDY. We forgot to mention them. It's a very, very big part. They give me a tremendous amount of chizuk. It's amazing to see 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds learning every single day with consistency, and they know what's going on. So Raboysai, thank you all for joining. And now we're just going to dance for 10 minutes, and then you can go shlofi, and I'm going to go home and try to prepare a shir.
al koilo oilam kulo kuloi kuloi hoi hoi deho
Vein sayal kolo rets malakala rets vi korcho
Eloi al koilo oilam kuloi kuloi hoi hoi deho
Vein sayal kolo rets malakala rets vi korcho Pero mi famadar y yo me zecho Aunque estoy seguro hartzicho Pero mi famadar y yo me zecho Aunque estoy seguro hartzicho
So she's like so
Für die Welt in der Leid Wie shine, für die Maschine, mit die mit sie geil. So she's ein, so she's ein. So the Washing, der Welt in der Leid. Wie shine. 1, 2, 1, go! La 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 la. Sing together, Raboysai. We are the Amen.
Mashiach, Mashiach, oy, 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 oy. Mashiach, 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 ay, 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 ba, 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 Mashiach, 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 da, 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 do. Mashiach, 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 ay, 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 da, da, do. Line, 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 line.
Raboysai, שרמה אלס בירקס המוזן.
Benching and Sheva Brachas.